Hello, students. Welcome to the Smart World, the School of Complete Education. Chapter 9 Settled Life and Urban Civilization. 9.1 Use of Metals. 9.2 Pots made on the potter's wheel. 9.3 Trade and Transport. 9.4 Rise of Cities and Script. 9.5 Social Organization in the Ancient Cities. 9.1 Use of Metals. You may have wondered about the first metal that human used. Museum in Europe had large collections of prehistoric artifacts and antique objects. A scholar named Christian Thompson introduced a method for classifying them. It is called the 3-age system. Thompson classified the objects into three groups: stone tools, Stone Age; copper tools and copper articles, Copper Age; iron tools and other iron articles, Iron Age. Thompson established, with the help of evidence, that stone tools were the earliest. The period of copper tools and the articles was next. It was followed by the period of iron tools and articles. Accordingly, the three periods were named the Stone Age, Copper Age, and Iron Age, respectively. This gave rise to the belief that copper was the first metal to come into use. Actually, gold was the first metal to be used. Gold is a soft metal, so it could not be used for making a tools and implements. Humans then discovered another material which could be used for these purposes. That metal was a copper. The period when copper came into use is known as Copper Age. To make it easy to turn the pot while shaping it, a rotating plank was probably used at first. The pot was shaped with the one hand, while the other was used to turn the plank. It is possible that the potter's wheel originated in the efforts to modify the rotating plank. Till recent times, tribal women in the northeastern regions of our country shaped the pots by using a rotating plank, a pointed quartz pebble fixed at the bottom of the potter's wheel. This pebble is known as a pivot. When the potter's wheel is put in the motion, it is balanced on this pivot and revolves with a great speed. A potter in ancient Egypt working on a rotating plank or a turntable. 9.2 Pots made on the potter's wheel. The Copper Age was a age of many new inventions and rapid changes. The invention of the wheel is the most important among them. It is generally agreed that the wheel was first used by the potters. Its use in carts and chariots probably began a little later. 9.3 Trade and Transport. Once a potters began to use a wheel, it became possible to make a pots in large numbers. In this period, people started making symmetrical and colorful pots with beautiful designs on them. Potters and other craftsmen began to live close to each other in the village settlement so as to manage their work more easily. We can say that this became the industrial area of the village where skilled craftsmen had their settlements and centers of production. This happened mainly in those village settlements where the raw material was easily available and in those days which were conveniently suited for trade. Such village settlements expanded rapidly. As the scale of production increased, trade too expanded with it. Therefore, there were a need to change the old system of transport. It was in the period that wheeled vehicles like carts and chariots were first brought into use. 9.4 Rise of cities and script. Long distance trade, rapid transport of goods, and centers of a large scale production are factors that brought together people engaged in different types of work. It became necessary to keep permanent records of the expanding trade and growing production. By now, signs and symbols had already come into use for purpose of record keeping. Broken pieces of clay pots, portraits with such signs have been found in the large number during excavations. The increase in trade and production and the growth in the volume of records to be kept resulted in much modification and improvement in the signs and symbols used for these purposes. In this way, each culture developed its own script. 9.5 Social organization in the ancient cities. It is true that rise in trade had been the major factor that contributed to the emergence and development of cities. However, the culture of those cities had its roots in the culture of village settlements of the New Stone Age. The faith system, rooted in the agricultural way of life, continued in the urban way of life too. The social life and the festivals based on agricultural faith systems became more elaborate in cities that had prospered because of the rise in trade. Grand temples were built in many cities. Chiefs of those temples became chief administrators of those cities. Later, the positions of a temple head and that of the king went to the same individual. This was the beginning of the ancient urban civilizations of the world. We will learn more about them in the next lesson. Thank you.